My uncle, Manuel, the poet, was living with a woman whose daughter was the last Isadora Duncan dancer. And she was very much part of our family lore. There's a very funny story about Isadora Duncan and my uncle, who at one point Isadora Duncan went to the Soviet Union and she married a very young, a poet much younger than she was. And when they came to New York on a boat, and she was a big star, so there were lots of reporters who came to interview her and so forth when the boat arrived. My uncle arrived too because he was living at that time in the Bronx in a project called the Coops. They were cooperative houses that were built there really to maintain Jewish culture. They built, the labor unions got together and built all these apartment buildings there, and the kids who lived there went to school in the daytime, and after school they went to Yiddish school. Anyway, my uncle came to talk to this poet with Isadora Duncan, whose name was Russian, and my uncle, of course, was fluent in Russian, and so were a lot of the people at the Coops. So he asked this guy if he would come and address the poets and writers and artists who lived in that project, and he said yes. Well, he came to this meeting with his wife, which is like Arthur Miller comes with Marilyn Monroe. And everybody made a big fuss about her because she was, after all, a big star. And her husband got very angry because all the attention was centered on her instead of him, and he began to beat her up. And they tried to separate them. And the guy was not 100%. He committed suicide, not now, but later. And he ran out into the Bronx, and all these poets ran after him. And they brought him back, and they tied him up with clothesline until he calmed down. And that particular incident was a big thing in the press. The press got hold of it. And I used to ask my mother about it. She didn't want to talk about it, but my uncle said that that's what happened, and that the next day when he went to visit them at a hotel, that the Brevoort downtown, which doesn't exist anymore, he said they were lovers again. It was like nothing had happened. But Isadora Duncan was part of our family lore.